We can, here we go. Hello, everybody. I'm Allie Jackson with Escrow Options Group, and we are now presenting Marketing Monday. And we have a very special guest today, Jennifer Lopez.
Yep, and that is my real name. I'm not making it up. It's not for marketing.
But definitely could take advantage of that because Jennifer is a marketing expert as well as a real estate coach. And today we have a very special topic, very timely topic, the
Yeah.
right way to keep sellers calm in this shifting market. And this market is shifting because shift happens.
That's true. That's so true.
And
So,
we chatting a little bit about what's going on with the market, and Janet asked me what's happening in with escrows. And one thing I can say is when you get these offers in, I would recommend giving a jingle over to that lender who's pre-approved them, because if they pre-approved them at 4% interest and now we're looking around the 6% range, they might not qualify for that home. So
right.
these are just, I mean, just basic tips that you want to make sure. And I would recommend, just giving them a call yourself, because that's one thing that has caused a few problems in escrow. And
That's a great point, Allie, that if you've had buyers that have kind of been in the market for a little while, that you need to make sure that their lending pre-approval, not pre-qualification, is up to date and really ready to go. That's because that is one way you can make sure that your sellers are calm and happy, is if those offers coming in, we know that they're actually legit, because there's nothing worse, right, than getting offers that fall out because there wasn't the proper lending in place. So I think as listing agents, that's a great tip. It's not on my list, but I think we're going to have this list grow as we have topics come up. And that's something everyone should probably write down, is if you are a listing agent, you always, always, always should probably cross qualify any potential buyers that are coming in and writing offers on the property. Just make sure that they're legit and ready to go before you get your sellers all excited about it.
a great tip. And a lender that you normally work with, refer your buyers to, would most likely be happy to do a cross qualification, even knowing that they already have a preferred lender.
Oh,
But it's just it's an added support for you, and then something that you can be pretty confident on, since they were.
yeah, the top agents that I worked with, and we're talking agents that are doing, 80 million plus in transactions, that is part of their standard operating procedure. They do not, they'll, of course, legally you present them, but they don't even get excited about any offers until they've been cross-qualified. So it's actually part of their confidential remarks. They put that in the MLS, and it says that all buyers need to cross-qualify so that they can make sure that they are legit and able to follow through with whatever purchase price they're coming in at. And I think that that's just a really great thing to adopt, no matter what level of agent you are, whether this is your first transaction or it's your 500th transaction. I think it's just a great practice, especially today, because we've seen that go from really low and the interest rates are climbing. It just does make a difference. Absolutely.
And also just want to mention to everybody a little housekeeping thing. In the bottom left, if you're looking on your regular computer screen, there's a little microphone and a camera. If you've got a red slasher, it means you can't see or hear you. And this is a casual training session that we have here. So if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in, or you can pop it into the chat. And Jen and I are both looking at the chat and can address your question in a timely manner as well.
Yeah, for those of you who just jumped on, I did ask if you have anything specific about a challenge or anything you have going on right now and you're looking for some advice, please put that over in the chat so we can make sure to address that.
And Tom, you had asked earlier that you were asking about having that discussion with the seller about a price reduction. I know Jen plans on addressing that during the training. But I just also want to mention a great tool that I have that's free to everyone who's on this training, anyone who's going to watch the recording. If you are not already receiving Altos reports from me, just shoot me a note and let me know you'd like to receive those. They are real-time data. It is not month-old, 2-month-old data like what your sellers are often seeing online. So what's really great about it is it's active on the market now. So the whole premise of Altos is what's happening in the market today. So it's what's active on the market, and it is reflecting every Sunday it's refreshed. So it's more current data. So if your sellers are looking at something online that's a few months old on, some of those other sites that are out there, they think that that's like the holy grail of data, but it's not. And so you can come to them with real current data. It has charts, it has stats. You can go back some period of time. You have different price points. You can do it by zip code, by city, and by county. So it's very helpful to be able to go in with that kind of a report as part of your let's talk about pricing strategy. Let's revisit this. It's a great tool to bring into that meeting with you.
I agree. I think having the data is really important. So what I usually tell agents when I'm working with them is there's really 3 pillars to growing a successful real estate business. And those 3 pillars are know your numbers. And that's where real-time data comes in. That's one component of the numbers, along with your own personal numbers, like your marketing, your KPIs, your ROIs, all of that. Number 2, you have to be better than Google. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that today as well. What does that mean? And number 3, which is really the crux of this training and how to keep your sellers calm, is you have to provide excellent customer service, not just good. They can't just have a good experience. They can't be like, yeah, they were good to work with. They have to become your raving fans, where they are just over the moon happy with what you've provided them. So that's really it. Those 3 things. If you know your numbers, if you can be better than Google and provide an exceptional customer experience, the sky's the limit. I've seen it work for so many agents. So if you write those 3 things down, like that's really the crux of any strong real estate business, really any strong service-based business. But there are components within that for real estate specifically. So let me answer that question. Cynthia, you said, what's the definition of cross-qualified? That just means that while the buyers may be qualified with their lender, as a listing agent, you can have a trusted lender that you work with, and you just ask their lender, the buyer's lender, to reach out to your lender. You don't even have to be in the middle of it. You just ask them to speak with one another. And that means your lender is double checking that their lender has actually pre-approved them, not just pre-qualified them, but they're pre-approved and ready to go and ready to put that earnest money down. So when they're writing offers, when they write that offer, if they, come in, let's just say they come in at $800,000, right? You're making sure that your lender finds out from their lender, yeah, they're good to go. They can match that price and it's all set. So that's what cross-qualified means. It's just kind of having lender to lender have that discussion so that you don't want to just have another lender call you and say, yeah, no, they're good. If you have a trusted lender, they're talking to their lender. So they're making sure that all the, T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and everything's good to go. So I hope that answers that question. It does not. It does not affect the credit score because it's the 2 lenders are sharing information. So that's usually how that works. They're not like pulling and running credit. Usually they're just looking at what the other lender is providing them, and lender to lender, they're making sure that they're both on the same page. Awesome. I would speak with whoever your preferred mortgage lender is and talk to them about that and how that would work in a system for you. That's the best way to do it because they're the mortgage experts. I know marketing and real estate. I know a little bit about mortgage, but I'm not a mortgage expert. So just double check. Okay.
Let us know. We work with a couple phenomenal lenders in our hot properties.
Absolutely.
That we participate.
Yeah, I'm also working right now on a vendor list. So if you guys know of any vendors, I do a training for agents where I show them how to add value and get over the fear of calling the database and or cold calling. It works for both using a vendor list. It's phenomenal. It works. I've seen people get 5-6 listings within, a week's worth of time using the system. So it's really a fun program, but I'm building out my 2023 vendor list. So if you guys know any vendors that are interested, let me know. They can reach out to me directly and that'd be great because I'm always looking to add new people. All right, so let's dive in. Do you have the slides, Ellie?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to pull them up on your side just so you can do them at
I don't know if I hooked them up to here. I don't need slides, but if we have them, it's fine. So really today, I want to talk about the exceptional customer service portion of the 3 pillars that I spoke about earlier. And then don't worry, Tammy, I am going to help you have that conversation. So we're going to go through this, and then I'm going to talk about really some little tips and tricks of how you can kind of have that conversation a little bit easier. Okay. So the first thing that I want you guys to remember is, if you've never read Building a Story Brand, you should. It's by Donald Miller, and it talks about how to utilize story in all of your marketing. And the number one thing they talk about is being the guide, right? There's always a hero in the story. And spoiler alert, it isn't you guys. Hate to break it to you. It's your sellers. In this case, we're going to primarily kind of focus on our sellers today, right? It's also your buyers, but your sellers. So you need to be their guide. I want you to think about Star Wars as an example here. The story wasn't about Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was the guide. Yoda was the guide. The hero of the story was Luke, right? He was the hero of the story. And they were the guides that were helping them come to triumph and become amazing and really succeed and win the day. And that's your job, is making sure that your sellers are the heroes of the story. So how do you do that? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. And the first is that you have to show empathy. So you have to kind of understand what they're going through. And having been in real estate, you guys can easily do that, right? Because you can say, hey, I've had clients who have been here before. That's the empathy part, right? But then you have to show authority. And the authority is, and I have helped them achieve. So I've been there before, but I've helped them achieve, right? So you have to understand that the empathy and the authority are the ways you become the guide in this story. Here's the reason why you have to do this. When you think of a story, if you're the hero of the story, then there's no room for your client to be the hero of the story. So they're not interested. They're like, well, this has nothing to do with me. This is about them. So you have to make sure that they're the hero in this story, and you are setting yourself up as the guide that's going to overcome their pain points. So you have to think too, what are their pain points? What is keeping them up at night? What has them just absolutely unable to sleep? And that is the pain point you want to help overcome, so there might be 2 or 3. And obviously for sellers, it's, I want to get more money, right? I need more money out of my house, and I need to hurry up and sell this. They might be on a tight timeline. So knowing the market and using things like what Allie was saying, Altos reports, is one great way to help overcome some of those pain points, because that will show them, exactly what they need to hear. So the other thing is, you have to ask them, right? A lot of times agents are afraid to ask their sellers things. I don't know why, but I hear this time and time again from my clients. They're like, well, I don't want to talk to them about it because insert whatever reason here. But you cannot get the information you need without asking them and then listening. Don't come prepared. This is not an overcoming objections session. This is literally asking them so you can hear and decipher exactly what are their pain points. Are they really looking at numbers? Have you run net sheets for them? Net sheets are a phenomenal tool. I don't know why more agents don't pre-do net sheets at multiple different price points, because that will give your client that hardcore information they need to see so that they can make better decisions, right? But ask them and then listen to what it is they need, because that's really going to help you. Do we have any questions? I can't see the chat anymore. Let me see if I can. There it is. I'm going to pull it up here so I can see it. I don't need to see my slides. Okay. Hello, Lena. So you have to be able to ask those questions. And again, don't be afraid to ask them. I know sometimes agents feel like if they're asking a question that they're, for some reason, it's going to make them look like they don't know what they're doing, or that they're going to give their sellers too much power, or they're going to hear questions they don't want to hear. But that's all part of being a great guide, is getting that information. And then you need to inform and empower. So this is kind of the be better than Google. You've got to give them all the information. So all of you that are on here today, I'm going to be sending you a special gift at the end of today's session. It is a editable PDF. It's done in Canva. And so you can just go into Canva and edit it. And it is a timeline of exactly what your sellers can expect during the process. That means from start to finish. You should never have them calling you saying, I'm wondering what's happening. You should be one step ahead of them, constantly one step ahead of them, informing them what's going to happen. So I have a program that I run with clients called Magic Moments. And the whole purpose of that program is to inform them. People have seen it and they go, oh, it's a gift giving program. Not really. We give gifts, but the gifts are a way to deliver the information, and it's a way for make the information more impactful. So we inform them at every turn. When you're doing photos, like here's what we're going to do. We're going to take pictures and this is what it means. What's coming next? Oh, you're going to go live in the MLS. What does that mean? We explain it on a card so that they know. What comes next? Brokers open. What's a broker's open? What's a broker's caravan? What is that? What comes next? And you'd be surprised. I've worked with so many sellers who have done this time and time again, and they forget, because this isn't their life, right? They sell and then they move on with their life. And now maybe they're selling again. They go, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. So we can't assume that they know, because this isn't their job. It's our job, right? So we need to make sure that we're informing them, and then we need to empower them. And what does that mean? A lot of times sellers feel disconnected from the process. They have the information, they're going through the transaction, but it's like all on the realtor, and they just feel like things are happening to them. You want to flip that. You want to make them part of your team. You want to make them part of the decision making. So that means, rather than just saying, we're going to have open houses every weekend. Again, you have to ask those questions and empower them. We would like to hold your home open, because we know that when we have an open house more frequently, we're going to get more buyers through, and we're going to have a higher likelihood of being able to sell your home faster. What days work for you, and how many can we do in a week? Rather than we're going to have an open house. And don't assume it's weekends, because open houses can be just as impactful in the evenings if that's what works for the family. That will help keep your sellers calm as well. When you inform them and empower them, you're going to see a much calmer seller. So another way to inform them would be giving them data and information on an ongoing basis, right? Having them see the marketing that you're doing. So what marketing are you doing? I'm not sure if you guys know, the Union Tribune has a program called Just Knock, and it's their online version. It's kind of a very localized Zillow version. You guys are on there because it pulls directly from the MLS. And here's a really cool thing about that program, is that if buyers are looking on that page and they click on that, all the leads come to you. Unlike some of those other syndicated sites where if you go to contact, it has whoever's buying those leads, right? This program is hyper local to San Diego, and every lead is going to go direct to you. So it's the Union Tribune, it's Hot Properties, it's their real estate online site. It's also called Just Knock, and it's offered through SDAR. And so you guys should check that out, and you should be sending your sellers there so they can see what you're doing. All right. In terms of marketing, now I'm going to kind of answer Tammy's question with how to do a price reduction. So here's something I used to do all the time. Didn't have to do it for like a year because, well, the market was so insane, right? But like 3-4 years ago, this is what I would tell my agents to do. I never say use Boost on Facebook. It is a waste of your money. Still is. Okay. Facebook ads are a beast and a half. They work if you completely understand how to utilize them and where you're marketing them. But for real estate, they have always been a gamble. The Boost button for any business is just a money grab from Facebook. However, this is a great tool. If you take your listing on Facebook and you boost it, you're going to get insane numbers. You're going to get a lot of views, especially if it's a video. So I would recommend you take that property video that you have. And if you don't have a property video, take some of your photos and turn them into a video and then boost that post on Facebook. And this is why I'm telling you, put maybe $25, $30 behind it. You are going to get this huge spike in numbers. And then what you can do is you can take that data and screenshot it. And then you can take it to your sellers and you can say, look, I've been marketing your property. We put this video out here and we've had 25,000 views and we still don't have an offer in your price range. That tells me that the market is showing us that we're still a little bit too high, because clients don't mind reducing the price of their property if A, you've shown them the data on the net sheet and it makes sense for them, and B, they can see that the market is talking. You saying, we haven't gotten any offers, so we're probably too high, that's not going to cut it. We have to inform and empower, right? We have to show them the data. And when you do something like you do that boost, you're going to have huge data you can show them. You can also show them, you know, if you have had open houses and you have like, if it's on Central Lock, right? And you can get the data of how many people have gone through and you can show them that. If you're not getting feedback at your open houses, you've got to do the feedback. Absolutely 100%. You've got to call every single agent that went through and get that feedback so that you can present that to your sellers. You're informing and empowering. So that's my little tip. Would you be able to do that, Tammy, do you think? Do you have a video or something? I know you don't have a microphone or anything, but maybe you can put it in the chat. It has worked like gangbusters. Yeah, it's really, and people are like, isn't that manipulative? It really isn't, because it does show. If you boost it, you are going to get eyeballs on it. And if you are priced correctly, you are going to get an offer. But we all know that when we're overpriced, it's hard to communicate that. In the industry, we understand what's happening, that the market sets the price, but that's hard to communicate just in saying the market sets the price isn't going to cut it for a seller. We need to inform them and empower them and let them have, you know, feel like they're making some of the decision too. So the more data you can show them, in Altos reports is fantastic. SDAR has fast stats. You can pull the stats for that individual zip code, and now you have two different forms of stats that you're sending them. You're going to show them all the marketing you've done on Facebook. And then you're going to give them all the feedback that you've had from other agents who have seen the property. So that's 5 solid pieces of actual data that you can bring to them, makes the conversation a little bit easier. And the net sheet, number 6, I forgot the net sheet. Always make sure you have those net sheets, because those are such a valuable tool. And that is something I feel that should be done when you take the listing, that you have kind of your lowest end and highest end, and you pull the net sheets for those at both those price points so that your sellers know exactly what it is. It's kind of like running your own business. I said the number one thing is know your numbers. Sellers have to know their numbers too. They have to be very clear on how much it is they're going to walk away with at the end of the day. That helps them and makes them feel empowered.
And that's
yeah,
also,
go.
Many of my clients like to go into the listing presentation with the net sheet, so we'll proactively prepare that. Even if we don't know what their mortgage is yet, or there's a component missing, that can trigger that conversation with their seller when they're in that listing presentation. Yeah. And I'll pre-pull Altos reports, and I'll work with your title rep in having a property profile available in advance as well. It shows that you are buttoned up and that you have your finger on the pulse of the market. And then what you need to have, if you need to have this kind of conversation later on, they're already familiar with this data because you showed it to them at the start.
And that keeps them calm.
Benchmark to show them how it shifted, right?
Right. So you need to do it today. So Allie can probably get you those Altos reports today.
Yep.
And if you log on to sdar.com, you can do that right now in a separate tab. So go to sdar.com and then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see something called Fast Stats. You're going to pull that up. You can pull up county data and you can pull up individual zip code data. Now those update on the 5th of every month. And so it's going to say that it's for August, but it still gives you a really good snapshot of what was happening around the county in that specific zip code, you know, around the county and in that specific zip code. Yeah, altos are great. So I would say those two reports, if you don't have time to boost, and then do you have feedback? Perfect. Yeah, see, that's so smart. And if you have feedback, then I would bring those three things and have that conversation. That's part of my program with Magic Moments. So this is the last slide here, is you have to surprise and delight them. So one of the reasons we use gifts, it was a program that I developed when I was working with an agent 2 years ago. That's when we started it. And it was to help us generate more referrals. One of the reasons we use gifts is because everyone loves to get a gift. And a lot of times what happens is we wait until we close to give a closing gift. By then everyone's exhausted. We've had to have hard conversations. There might be a little bit of, you know, ill feelings, or we had something icky happen. Now it's over. We're relieved, but it still isn't just that high euphoria. Like everyone's like, oh, thank God it's done. But it's not like, woohoo, party time, it's done. It's more of a, oh, okay, we're done. So what we did is when we created that program where we're touching them throughout the transaction at each one of those magic moments and delivering a little gift, they're being surprised and delighted and informed and empowered along the way. It keeps them calmer. So when you have to have conversations like this, they're like, okay, I feel a little bit more relaxed right now because I know that they've, you know, got my back, right? So, and the gifts aren't big. We give small, meaningful gifts, and then we have to think about them very carefully because we have to remember your clients are moving. They don't want a bunch of junk in their house. And some of those programs like Client Giant, there was another one, Client Made or something. It's kind of junky boxes. Like they're cutesy, like, you know, a scalp massager and some Advil, but it's at the end of the day, it's stuff that you just don't need in your house. So we chose gifts that are like a phone charger and a carrying case for all of your equipment, or some olive oils for cooking that either you're going to use and then they're done, or you can re-gift. And we tell our clients as well, yeah, let your clients know they can re-gift these. They're busy packing. They don't have time to shop. Take this and go re-gift it. It's just an easy way to do it. But when you're surprising and delighting them, your sellers are going to stay a lot calmer because you've been in contact with them. So it's again, that constant touch, but I know you guys don't have time on the phone. That's why the program was designed to kind of take the heavy lifting off the agents, to help surprise and delight the clients without the agents having to really do anything. Because I get it, you guys are busy. Like I said, I've done this for a long time, worked with a lot of agents and brokers. And so I know I've sat in on those conversations as well, having to do a price reduction. So I know coming in with data and stats is always easier than just saying, well, I guess we have to lower the price. So hopefully that's going to be a little helpful. Does anyone else have any questions? Something maybe I haven't covered? I would love to see in the chat box if you have anything else that you need to hear about, that maybe a particular situation with a seller that maybe the data isn't going to cut it for you and you maybe need a different strategy. So if you do, go ahead and put that in there.
What I like about what you're referencing there, Jen, with the conversation is when you need to sit down and have that check-in conversation on, are we priced right? Do we need to do a price adjustment? It's another critical touch point in your relationship with your client, that it can either go south and they now have a bad taste in their mouth because you listed it here, this is why they went with you, and now we're doing a price reduction, or it instills further confidence in you as their agent because you came in there prepared and understand the market and you're helping them navigate their way through it, which makes them more delighted than ever before. And that's really the ultimate customer experience.
I agree. And it goes back to that very first slide. You have to be the guide, right? This is their journey. And yes, you're selling the house, but houses don't give referrals. people do. And so you need to keep in focus the person in that house that you are listing. And when you're the guide on their journey, it makes it so much easier too. And when you can think about yourself that way as well, like, I'm here to guide them. I'm going to provide them with the best guidance and smooth. And you can even say to them, I'm here to guide you on this process. Because a lot of times I think what happens too, and I don't know if you've seen this, Allie, with your clients as well, agents will sit down and they're just kind of like, well, we're going to do this, and this is what we're going to do, forgetting that they're here to facilitate a journey to a sale. And it's not really necessary for them to like put the hammer down and say, this is what we're going to do. You know, because at the end of the day, the client has, you know, the last say. I'll give an example. We had a client who had a property on Ocean Boulevard. It was a condo. And there were 3 properties, 3 condos in the same building, different owners being listed at different price points. He needed to make X amount of dollars. Like, it was non-negotiable. He said, this is my bottom line. This is what I have to make. So the agent went in and kind of had it priced too high. It was priced too high. And so that conversation had to be had of having that price adjustment, which is when the agent learned where the bottom line was. Again, those conversations at the beginning will save a lot of trouble. But we had that bottom line. That house is still on the market, and it has been 8 months. 8 months. So it was on during kind of the crazy time, and it still is priced a little bit too high. Now, there are some other challenges with it, right? Every property has its unique challenges. It's a short-term rental. There's a lot of questions about what's happening with short-term rentals, which I would love to do an entire episode on that, Allie. I think we can really dig into that. But the conversation had to be had, and he's actually very calm because we ran him through the program. We kept him informed and empowered. And so even though it's 8 months later, he's not frantic about it. He's like, okay, you guys understand where my bottom line is. We're going to keep marketing the property, and we'll find a buyer who's going to hit that mark for me. And he's totally calm and relaxed, even in this crazy market, even though he knows everything went down and his didn't sell at the height. He knows that the marketing is on point because the agent has been making sure that he's informed every step of the way. Constant feedback, constant data. Once a week, he gets kind of an updated snapshot of the market and updated feedback of what people are saying who have taken a look at the property. So I think it's really important. It's just kind of keeping your clients in the know, being the guide, and then surprising and delighting them and making them feel special and seen. You know, everyone loves to get a little gift. So, yeah, the next thing I have is I just have some information on referrals for you, some data that when your customer experience is like this and you keep your clients calm in any market, you're going to end up with referrals. So 92% of consumers trust the referral or recommendation. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're always during points in the transaction asking for that referral. Like, I like to, in the process of magic moments, we always ask for a referral kind of before the open house, because by then all the fun stuff's been happening, the photos and the video, and then we have broker's caravan, we're live. We ask for the referral then, so that after the open house, if it does tend to sit, then they're not feeling kind of like, well, now I don't want to refer. We get the referral early, and then we ask again later. So we keep them surprised and delighted, and then ask for the referral again later. So that's another tip too. Yeah, so I would like questions. I don't think we have any, but Allie, do you have any other questions or comments to add on to other ways you could keep your sellers kind of more relaxed?
And this is your last slide here, right? Jump out of it.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Well, I mean, I think we covered some of the key points. Is just coming in and being calm yourself, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
You feel free, if you've had a bad conversation and you're grumpy and you need to vent, give me a call. That's fine. Get that all off your chest. Then call your client when you're feeling good.
Yes, I think that's important too, the time you speak with your client, and that's part of asking and listening. Ask them, how do they like to be communicated with? and when do they like to be communicated with? I know some of these are very basic, but we get busy, as agents. I know you guys are super, super busy. And sometimes we just forget because we're like, oh, I got to call them. I got to get that done. And knowing, oh, they only like to get text messages from me and they usually like it after 5, that really helps as well. So it's just really kind of meeting them where they're at, remembering they're the hero of this story. You're there to guide them to that winning, offer, and then that close of escrow where they get everything they want and they're happy. So hopefully that helped everyone. We kind of covered a lot of stuff. So yeah, I will be happy to send anyone who's on this that little PDF that I have. You can edit in Canva. If you don't know how to use Canva and you're like, Jen, that just sounds too hard for me, let me know. I'll send you a little tutorial. So it's a great little sheet and clients absolutely love it. They love it. It just walks them through step by step. This is what the program's going to look like. Yes, I will send the PDF. I'll send you an editable, one you can edit in Canva, and I'll send you one that has no dates on it. So you can just maybe even handwrite them in and give them to your client. So.
And everyone who's registered, I have your email from your registration on Eventbrite. So we proactively have that. And like I said, if anyone is not already getting Altos reports, I popped my email address in the chat, Allison with 1L.Jackson@escrowoptions.com. Just shoot me a note or give me a call, 760-637-1002, and I will get you set up on Altos reports. You'll get an email early every Monday morning that you can click through. It's just based on San Diego County, but then you can click in there, you can save your farm, you can pull up a specific zip code when you have a listing presentation. If you're working with buyers and you want to level set their expectations, oh my gosh, Altos reports were so handy for that over the past year. I mean, you think about the buyers that wanted to go in under asking 6-8 months ago. And having that Altos report in hand and being able to have that conversation with stats and facts with your buyers actually was an opportunity to get them their first and second choice homes instead of waiting till the fourth came around and they finally started to believe you that people were selling it over asking.
Right.
So it's a real shame to pay $100,000 more for your home when it's not even your dream home.
Yeah.
So great report
Awesome.
for that. Now, Jen and I are coming back to do another Marketing Monday on October 10th. That's Monday, of course, at 11 o'clock. And this one has a very interesting topic. It's called Changing Brokerages, Marketing Must That You Need to Do. And it's great for changing
plenty of agents change brokerages. I'm sure you have too, Allie.
Well, and the other thing is, if you're thinking of changing a brokerage, you definitely want to check this out. If you think sometime in your entire real estate career, you might want to change brokerages, you should check it out. If you've changed brokerages even in the last year, there's some stuff that we're going to cover, like, what links are out there. I mean, I can't tell you how often I look up an agent and they've got a bunch of dead links or links that drive them to their old brokerage. So these are just some things you really want to make sure that you have in place. And it's also great for a newer agent to think down the line, because you may have just had one mentor bringing you in and you've only been doing it the way he or she taught you. And together, Jen and I are pulling some best practices that we've learned from very successful agents and things that you need to do just to set yourself up for the future. So highly recommend that one. We'll have a link. When I send the replay out, we'll have a link set up for registration.
And then I would love to hear what topics you guys would like as well for these Marketing Mondays. Send them on over to Allie or myself. And if you've got colleagues and people you're networking with and you guys have, chatted and they have some topic ideas, send them on over. We would love to hear them. We just want to help you guys really succeed, especially in this shifting market. I truly believe that there's so much room for opportunity right now for agents who are really ready to see their business flourish. I think if you want to be one of those top agents, now's the time to do it. I think there's so much opportunity in the next 3 months.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is the time when someone who doesn't just casually post something on the MLS and just expect it to sell itself.
Correct.
This is the time real professionals get to shine.
Yes.
And the time that people who aren't willing to put in some elbow work are going to probably go away.
Yeah.
And it's going to thin the market out, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I
shit
agree.
happens.
I
And
agree.
having shit happen is it's normalizing the market. Any situation where you have buyers coming in, making an offer and saying, I waive inspection, that is not a best practice at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want that as a selling agent. There's liability involved in this. So
Yeah.
it was an unbalanced market, and now it's balancing, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. And now you know how to keep all your sellers calm while the market is balancing. So we're all good to go.
Any other questions?
Doesn't look like it. Awesome. I'm going to send those PDFs out to everyone so you guys have that. And you've got I put my email in there. It's hello@sdmagicmoments.com. Or you can also reach me. I'll put it in here. I'm also Jennifer@15thstreetmedia.com. And you can reach me there. There you go. So thank you guys. Thanks for having me this morning. Allie, I'm looking forward to doing this with you again.
Yes. Have a great week, everybody. And you
Thanks.
can also always catch me and Jen, and as well as the rest of the Dream Team affiliates at our Hot Properties pitch session, the first and third Thursday at La Papagayo, Carlsbad. So hope to see you there in person, and hope to see you on Monday, the 10th, for our Changing Brokerage Marketing Monday.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.